It's 1939, and again the world faces a war of epic proportions. As with all wars, it spurs innovation. In Britain, they develop airplane detecting radar just in time for the Great Battle of Britain.
The greatest fame acquired by this British scientific device, later further developed in conjunction with our allies, was won in the Battle of Britain. I think the diagram speaks for itself, showing how the approach of the Luftwaffe was picked up in good time.
At roughly the same time, the Germans first developed radio navigation techniques. This used radio waves received from transmitters to send beams that they could follow. This allowed them to safely land and fly during bad weather. This was a huge advantage which the Allies quickly discovered and followed suit. Both sides then developed airborne radar, which was really useful for attacking at night, and it was considered one of the biggest achievements. New planes were developed to fight the war. The German Stuka was a two-man dive bomber that debuted in 1935. It featured a wailing siren that terrified citizens and auto pull-up dive brakes. The Messerschmitt 109 outclassed almost every other fighter plane in Europe. Willy Messerschmitt built the smallest airframe he could and then bolted it to the most awesome fire-breathing engine he could find. Back home, important innovations in materials was occurring. The most important work, however, was done by NACA during the war, was drag cleanup. The result was planes that could fly higher and carry more payload.
The American 8th Air Force has been steadily contributing to the Allies' round-the-clock air offensive, particularly with its heavily armed flying fortresses.
The reliable B-17 Flying Fortress had a crew of 10 and could carry 4,000 pounds of bombs with a ceiling of 35,000 feet. It was well loved by its crew. And this is where the story gets personal. My uncle was a bombardier navigator in World War II. The job of bombardier navigator was to navigate the plane and release the bombs at the proper time so that the range would take into consideration airspeed and plane speed, and the bombs would reach their target. This job was made much easier with the innovation of the Norden bomb sight. My uncle talked lovingly of this bomb sight.
And the secret bomb sight is taken away, heavily guarded. The 8th Air Force has been doing a fine job and already has many highly successful raids to its credit. It is not yet as powerful a force numerically as we or the Americans themselves hope it may soon become, but it's on the job all right, and hitting hard.
My uncle also flew on the B-24 Liberator. With a larger payload of 5,000 pounds, it was produced in bigger numbers than the B-17. Its crews did not like it, and due to its rear exit, it was nicknamed the Flying Coffin.
Liberators of the United States 8th Army Air Force on their way to strike at the German war machine. Day after day, this blitzing of Germany and of carefully selected targets in German-occupied countries goes on.
Jets were another innovation. Produced the first practical jet fighter, the twin-engined Me-262, which flew at 450 miles per hour. Beginning in September 1944, the world's first long-range ballistic missile, the German V-2, began attacking London. The liquid propeller rocket was the first man-made object to enter the fringes of space. My uncle received the Air Medal for service in the North Atlantic. After 2 tours of duty over Berlin, he was posted to sunny Boca Raton, Florida, for hurricane duty, where he served out the rest of the war. That's him on the right.